Podcast Answer Man, episode number 112. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Podcast Answer Man. My name is Cliff Ravenscraft. Of course, this is the podcast about podcasting. Want to say welcome to all the new subscribers. I have no idea what happened. I don't know what happened, but welcome to all the new subscribers. It's awesome. Folks, maybe it's just because I haven't checked in a while, but those of you who have been listening all along to the Podcast Answer Man, you know that I am not a huge fan of constantly checking your stats these days. Now, I'll admit to you, when I first started podcasting, I was a stats-aholic. I mean, I was totally addicted. I would check my stats like hourly. It was pathetic, actually. And if you're checking your stats every hour, I'm not saying you're pathetic, or maybe I am. Maybe I am. No, seriously, I was checking my stats hourly. There were sometimes I would release a podcast and I would just hit refresh just to see how quickly people would, be downloading the show and stuff like that. And but seriously, I used to be addicted to checking stats. And I've made it a point these days to tell you that, because I no longer have to, I'm no longer focused on trying to earn money through advertising and through all that other stuff that, I don't have to report stats to anybody else. And also for me, podcasting has all been about relationships, building relationships with people, adding listeners one person at a time and doing the kind of the slow build. You know what I'm saying? The slow build. And well, the thing is that the other day I had somebody was in the studio. I can't remember who it was. Somebody came into the studio and they were asking me, hey, what's your, it was last night, Monday night. Chris was here after the Help I Got a Mac show. And he says, hey, Cliff, what's the stats for our show look like? And I said, I don't know. So we looked them up. And as I was scrolling through, I saw something that blew me away. Oh my gosh. We have added somewhere in the last 4 or 5 months, we've added about 1,200 new subscribers to this podcast. Where did you guys come from? Hello, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Seriously. And thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. And I hope to hear from you guys personally, one-on-one. There are 2 ways that you can contact us. If you have unlimited long distance on your cell phone plan or whatever, why not give us a call on our feedback hotline over at area code 859-795-4067. Or if you want to, anybody else out there, if it costs you long distance to dial out there, then what you want to do is just call our toll-free number at 800-757-1158. Again, that's 1-800-757-1158. If you're a podcaster and you want to learn how to get podcast voicemail listener line set up, I encourage you to do that. Head over to podcastanswerman.com/voicemail. There's an article with 3 different options you can choose from, and my opinions on all of them. And anyway, so with that, welcome again to everybody. Can you tell I'm blown away? I mean, now I'm not going to be checking the stats and it's like, oh, I can't wait till we hit the next 1,200 more. That's not what I'm about. But I happened to notice it, and I just wanted to say welcome to you guys. And if I hadn't said so already, I'm glad you're here. All right. So today I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm gonna double up on a podcast. The last episode number 111. I kind of said, hey, podcasting with a purpose. That podcast about a purpose. Have a purpose and podcast it, and make a change in this world kind of deal. And in the episode before that, I talked a little bit about rebranding and this whole pursuing a balanced life thing that I had mentioned. After almost 400 episodes of the My Crazy Life podcast, am I absolutely nuts? Am I crazy for changing the name of my podcast? Almost 400 episodes in, going from My Crazy Life, changing it to Pursuing a Balanced Life. Why would I do that? And how is that how has that changed things? And so here today, I wanted to just share that with you, but I'm not going to sit here and talk for the next 30 to 40 minutes. I want to play a podcast for you, and it's going to demonstrate, and I think it's going to demonstrate a couple things. But before it does that, I got to let you know, please do this, okay? If you haven't done so already, go over to podcastanswerman.com. On the right-hand side of the site, for right now, you'll see a big banner up there that says podcast equipment and setup and workflow webinar. Sign up. Hey guys, help support what's going on here. And trust me, in 2 hours on this, it's coming up this Saturday, May 23rd, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Let me tell you, you are going to get my heart and soul, and I'm going to be pouring in so much valuable information into that podcast. I'm not going to go down the whole line of things, but if you click on that little icon, that big banner ad for my webinar, click on it. It'll take you to the registration page. But scroll down on that page before you sign up and read all the stuff I'm including in there. And let me tell you, I've done all of those things that are in there. I've worked with clients one-on-one and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you, this week leading up to the Saturday, I am going to be preparing. It's going to take me no less than 10 hours, minimum 10 hours, to put all the content together that I'm going to be sharing in this weekend's webinar. And as far as people that have been asking, is it going to be available later? As you know, are you going to record it? I'm going to record it, and it's only going to be made available in the form that it's being recorded by GoToMeeting.com, which is not a sponsor of this podcast. It's only going to be available and recorded in that format, and that's only going to be for the people who actually pay and attend the live session. I'm not a huge fan of the quality of the audio of that recording and stuff like that. It's going to be great for those who were there and they just need something to reference as long as the recording works. But as far as those of you who want something pre-recorded and stuff like that, down the road, I have plans to put all this stuff together. I mean, once I have all the materials, but let me tell you, there's a real benefit. There's a real benefit if you can make it to attend the live webinar. And let me tell you why. It's about the relationships. It's what I keep telling you folks. You want to grow your podcast, get together with other people who are podcasting. Build relationships with those people. They are going to be the number one traffic delivery method to your podcast, hands down, because you know what? Everybody who listens to their podcast are already people who are familiar with what a podcast is, how to subscribe to a podcast. All you have to do is have them talk about you, and you don't do that nefariously. It's like blah blah blah. You just build a natural relationship, and people naturally talk about their friends and what's going on and what's exciting. For example, my friend Wayne over at MediaVoiceovers.com, he's got a bunch of great podcasts doing some great things over there, and I've got my friend Steve McQueen, who does MCNationPodcast.com, I believe is the website. But anyway, you just look up MC Nation Podcast and you're going to find it. He does a great podcast on motorcycles. Just some great people out there. Girls Night in Radio.com, I believe. But anyway, those girls are doing a great job, and they were just on This Week in Tech. Rachel was over there. Congratulations, by the way, Rachel, for that. And so, come join the webinar live, because you're going to build relationships with other podcasters through the time that you're there. And I've seen this happen in the past. Let me tell you, I know people in the GSPN.TV Podcast Answer Man community that met each other through what used to be a 3-hour webinar. We kind of went a little bit too long, but so it's 2 hours now. But anyway, we had a 3-hour webinar, and those people today are tight, and they are benefiting each other all the time. They're both cross-pollinating their communities, and both podcasts are growing massively. And I'm thinking specifically of two individuals. And it's amazing. And I have the same thing happen with Father Roderick. I mean, we probably share about 30% of both of our audiences we share together. And that's huge. That's huge. 30% of my audience comes from the SQPN network, and 30% of his audience probably comes from the GSPN.TV area. And Father Roderick, if you're listening, you think that's wrong, just tell me. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I mean, we're constantly talking about each other. And so, yeah. Anyway, exciting things happening. Let me go. So yeah, go do the webinar, please. Do that. Do it for me. Seriously, I'm begging. No, seriously, it's going to be beneficial for you. And by the way, for those of you who say, the reason why I want the pre-record is because I can't make it this Saturday. I hope as many of you as can, if you can squeeze it into Saturday, please do. But if you can't, here's what I'm going to tell you to do. I want to do these webinars again. You tell me what day and time is available for you. And that will be when I schedule the next webinar. I'm waiting for the first person to say, I can't do it this weekend, but I can 3 weeks from now at this day and this time. And as long as that's open on my schedule, boom, we have at least one person registered for that webinar. And we just need 9 more to go. And so I'm going to just be upfront with you right now. Right now, I'm trying to limit the webinar to about 10 people or less. And we already have 2 people. Not including myself. So there'll be 3 of us talking this Saturday so far, and I hope that you will be there too. That was a huge long commercial. That was almost as long as an Audible ad on This Week in Tech. So I do apologize. But here's the deal. You're getting ready to hear episode number 400 of my podcast, which is now called Pursuing a Balanced Life. There's a reason why I want to share it today. Well, actually, there's a couple. One is because, it's Tuesday. I need to get a Podcast Answer Man out there. And, I've already got this content, so I could just put it out. Of course, I'm already 11 minutes into this, so technically speaking, I could just open up my email inbox, play a couple voicemails, answer, and I'd have my thing. So it's not that I'm really trying to cheat myself out of getting out of this, but there's some real value in sharing what I'm going to share with you. Couple different things are going to happen here. Number one, it's further proof of the awesomeness of having a digital audio recorder. And specifically what you're about to hear is the Edirol R-09HR digital audio recorder, which you can purchase through me, by the way. And so you're going to hear it. You're going to hear the birds in the background. You're going to hear my steps as I'm walking. Another thing is you're going to hear this podcasting with a purpose thing. You're going to hear it. I mean, I dare you not to be motivated or inspired to get outside and walk and get healthy after listening to the rest of this episode. I dare you. I double dog dare you. So anyway, and here's the other thing, the rebranding. Oh my goodness. If you happen to listen to this entire episode, wait till you get to the end, the very end of this episode, when I read the hashtags from Twitter at twitter.com. If you go and do a search for the pound sign, hashtag PABL. Just go there now. Go to search.twitter.com, type in the pound symbol, PABL all together, and look what's happening there. That's the power of rebranding, and it's the power of podcasting with a purpose. And let me tell you, I just relaunched that. And the only reason, and again, I'm not a stats person and stuff like that. I do get excited to see things grow, but I'm not going to be obsessed with these stats. But I did happen to go in and change the origination feed, or the original feed in FeedBurner. And the other day, and I saw what the number was for the subscription to the free feed. This is not the Plus member feed, but the free feed for for what used to be My Crazy Life, which then became Pursuing a Balanced Life. When I saw that, I saw the number of subscribers. Now today, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? I gave the origination feed for the FeedBurner. I told it to use the main feed, which gets all the posts, even the ones that aren't podcast episodes. And I'm thinking, you know what? That if all of a sudden I do a lot of blog entries, that's going to push out some of the, it might push out some of the actual podcast episodes out of the iTunes listing, because my RSS is set to only show like the 20 most recent episode or posts when displaying a feed. So what I decided is if instead of going to pursuingabalancedlife.com/feed, I'm now doing which would give me the 20. It would get the RSS feed would show the 20 most recent posts in that RSS. Instead, I've changed it to the origination feed is pursuingabalancedlife.com/category/free, which is actually the category that I put free episodes of the Pursuing a Balanced Life podcast in and /feed. And then that will then give me the most recent 20 posts of that particular category. So I went in and changed that today. Now this has only been 24 hours. 24 hours since I changed it yesterday. So looking, and these are the FeedBurner stats, I saw an increase of 210 subscribers to that podcast in 24 hours. People are seeing the pound PABL on Twitter all over the place. And if you're wondering what this pound.pabl is, here's another lesson for you. Go right now, pursuingabalancedlife.com/PABL. That stands for Pursuing a Balanced Life, but pursuingabalancedlife.com/PABL, and it'll tell you how I started it and what it's all about. But it can't be something that you just manufacture. This is all about podcasting with a purpose. And so I believe that, you're definitely going to get the example of the rebranding. You're going to get an example of podcasting with purpose. I hope that you're inspired. I hope, if nothing else, you subscribe to the new podcast, and that you yourself start to pursue a more balanced life. And I do hope to see as many of you as possible this Saturday on May 23rd from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at the webinar. Head over to podcastanswerman.com to sign up. And with that, here is episode number 400 of Pursuing a Balanced Life.
Well, everybody, welcome to episode number 400 of Pursuing a Balanced Life. Cliff Ravenscraft here, and oh goodness, am I excited to be here for this 400th episode. And when I say here, of course, I do mean walking through my neighborhood, actually currently heading up a hill. And so today I have some thoughts that I want to share with you, immediate reactions to, I think it was episode 9 of Fitness Rocks, a podcast that I'm listening to for some inspiration and also education on physical fitness and health. So I do want to share that with you. And I guess I'll just jump right into it if you guys don't mind. The first thing I wanted to talk about is I've really learned something about my level of commitment and determination this time around. And when I say this time around, really for the first time, that I've actually had a true determination to carry out a lifestyle change. Not just getting out and getting more physically active. I mean, really, in my mind, I'm looking to change my physical, emotional, spiritual, every aspect of my life completely. I want it all to be healthy. And so one of the things that I've learned, and it's something that I just heard from an interview that Dr. Monty did on Fitness Rocks, was it is setting a priority on whatever it is that you're doing. If you're determined, it's got to be your highest priority. Now, let me tell you something. Today, I woke up at 5 a.m. and I don't know if I'll be able to do it every day. And, I'm not going to worry about that right now. But what I want to say is that last night I went to bed early, as I had told you guys that I would. And I set my alarm for 5 a.m. And when it went off this morning, I did not hit the snooze button. I made it a priority in my mind that this going out and getting my physical activity, getting my big walk in for the day, I desperately want that to happen in the morning. And if you listen to episode 399, that became clearly evident to me that this walking has become an all-consuming priority in my life. And I really believe that's just one of probably the many changes that have taken place. And a lot of this has happened in my mind. My mind is so clearly focused on the end result, not just weight loss, although that's a big factor, but overall health and the desire to live as long as I can make my body live, provided I don't get hit by a bus or something. But Lord willing, I want to live as long as possible, and I don't want me to get in the way of that. And so many things about my lifestyle before was putting roadblocks and stumbling blocks in the way. And so, all-consuming priority. And, if there's anything that I would say as a motivation and as a source of encouragement, is that you just have to not let anything get in the way of what it is that you set as your goals. They have to be your priority. And when I say priority, they have to take precedence above other things. Now, I do think it's important to say, minus emergencies. If I wake up in the morning and all of a sudden, one of my children has, severe stomach cramps and they're not going away and they got them bent over and they need to go to the hospital, I can't say, well, I'm sorry guys, I got to go out for my walk. Just lay there on the couch until I get back. No, that's irresponsibility. And the guy that was being interviewed on Fitness Rocks, he was saying, here in Florida, maybe if a hurricane is predicted that morning, then I'm not going to get out and do my run. Now, he's a runner, but and in Florida, you have to kind of look out for those things. You just don't go out when there's a predicted hurricane that morning. And so, barring emergencies, but when it comes to all the other things that come up that distract us, let me give you some examples. The other morning, and I didn't even realize this was really happening, but when I heard him say this, setting this priority, not letting anything, with the exception of emergencies, not letting anything get in the way, then I looked back at, the last 19 days or 18 days, today being the 19th day straight in a row that I've been out walking a minimum of 1 hour every day. Over the last 18 days, I've noticed that this has become an all-consuming priority for me. I noticed that I'm putting it above other things, even above other important things, but not anything more important than my overall physical and emotional health. Is there physical, emotional, and is there another one? And spiritual. Yeah. Physical, emotional, and spiritual health. This physical activity that I'm doing, it's benefiting my body physically. Sure, I am dropping some pounds, which, praise the Lord, I need to. You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely need to lose the pounds. And you know what? Hopefully, it's working to lower my blood pressure. I've been diagnosed in the past with borderline high blood pressure. Hopefully, this is going to take care of some of that. And just some other things that, the heart risk and so, it's going to do all that. And trust me, those are big, huge factors. But for me, there's the emotional health. The fact that I'm out here walking every day, I've noticed that it's changed my self-confidence level. It's changed who I am. I mean, it's changed how I think about things. I have greater perspective. And so, How can I see over the last 18 days that this has become that important to me? Well, go back and listen to a couple episodes recently. One morning I was actually 2 different days in the last 18 days. It was raining out here, and I'm actually walking with my umbrella. One day my feet, when I got back, were soaking wet. I had to take my shoes and socks off, and let my shoes dry out that day. Of course, I wouldn't do that again if it was raining that hard. I'm just going to go over and get on the treadmill. That was a little crazy. But you see, that's how important this had become. And nothing demonstrates how big of a priority this has become in my life more than yesterday. Okay, Monday morning, I'm a workaholic, okay? I confess that to you guys. It's one of the things that I'm working on, and that's why this is pursuing a balanced life. but I'm slowly trying to break that addiction. And yesterday was a day where that addiction was really tempting, but it wasn't. The temptation wasn't overcoming. In fact, I beat the temptation. I woke up, I stayed up later than I wanted to. Well, I had to. No, I didn't. I always have choices. But I had committed to watching the 2-hour finale of Desperate Housewives, and I decided afterwards that Stephanie and I would record this podcast and get that out. And so we did that. And because of that, I was up later. And because of that, I got up later. Much later. Normally I'd be done with my walk and in the studio by 8:30, 9 o'clock at the latest. And wasn't it like 10:45 yesterday in the morning or 10:15 or 9:45? It was something late like that. And basically, I was walking when and this is my workaholic mind, that voice on the side of your shoulder with the little red horns. Cliff, you should be working right now. You got inbox. You got your emails from the weekend. You didn't work on Sunday, so you need to check those emails. And oh my gosh, you got equipment orders. And do you know you're scheduled to have lunch with your mom at 11 o'clock? How are you going to do all this stuff? You gotta get in there. You gotta get all this stuff done. And you can't be out here walking. Maybe you can walk later. And it's like, I had to just shut all that out. Say, listen, you know what? I don't care right now. I made a commitment to walk, and I'm going to go walk. Walking is what gives me that boost of self-confidence. It's what's helped me to stay focused and clear in my mind so that when I am working on things that I'm like, I can do this. So it's really motivating to successfully complete a goal on a regular basis. And so whether it's rain, that can't get in the way. If it's cold outside, this morning, did I say that I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning? I don't know if I did yet or not. I probably did. But I did. I remember making a point. I didn't even hit the snooze button. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning. Now, I went downstairs I went and grabbed myself. I had one piece of toast, which is whole wheat, 100% whole wheat, 70 calories. I had 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, which is 80 calories. And then I had 1 whole banana. And I had a Diet Coke. Wayne, I haven't broken that one yet. And, I really don't feel any lenient or tendencies or not even leading towards giving up the Diet Coke just yet. But I have, it is just like the morning starter for me right now. And I have it at, big meal, dinner or lunch. Not always at lunch, though. Anyway, so I'm slowly cutting those things down. I got kids out here, high school kids, out on these street corners. They're going to be looking at me funny. It's all right. No big deal, right? So anyway, so you just got to go with what you got to do. And you can't let things get in the way. And that's what I've learned. It's like this morning, I just checked when I started this recording before I turned it on. It is currently right now 49 degrees out here, and I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. And hold on one second, I'll finish this thought after I get around here. These kids are gonna think I'm nuts. Okay. All right, so there's sometimes when that doesn't bother me and sometimes it does. Anyway, so it's 49 degrees when I started this. Now the sun is shining. The sun has just come up, over top of the trees, and the heat of the sun is providing a little warmth. At this point, I've been walking for probably about 45, 50 minutes, and so I've heated up a little bit. But boy, when I started this morning, I walked out the door at 6 a.m., and when I walked out the door, it was cold. T-shirt and shorts, I'm like, dude, I need gloves. That's how cold it is out here. I need gloves on. And did I let that stop me? No, I walked through it. And I got through it because it's that much of a priority for me now. And I'm just telling you that breaking through those challenges, I think it's because of how big of a priority of it is in my life. So this is something I want to do. Monday morning, my goal is to not have those days where I wake up at, 9 o'clock or 8:30 and I don't get out the door until 9 or 9:15 or whatever. I think I got up at 8 and was out the door at 8:30 or 9, but that's just too late. And I can't let that happen anymore. But in the events when something happens and it does occur, if it does occur, this thing's a priority. Where does this stand in relation to all the other important things in my life? But, this in my mind has become something that I think is one of those all important things. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. And it felt so good. Let me tell you, well, first of all, it wasn't easy. It was not easy to get up this morning, but it was easier than I ever thought it could be. I didn't feel bad that I was getting up, and now that I'm out here, I'm like, gosh, this is so awesome. Let me take a look real quick and tell you what time it is. It is, I'm going to just stop for just a second here. It is 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to look at my stopwatch. I have now been walking for 1 hour. So it is 7 o'clock in the morning, 1 hour. And what else was I going to look at? Oh, and I should be right at 3. I'm at 3 miles. How am I only at 3 miles? I'm usually 10 minutes more in. And in 10 minutes more, I'll have the extra 1,000 steps. That's what it is. All right. But anyway, I'm getting ready. I'm going to go around 1 or 2 more cul-de-sacs here in the neighborhood. And I'm going to head back home. And by the time I get back, it'll be no later than 7:30 in the morning. I will have already walked 3.5, if not 4 miles today. And with that, I'm ready to start my day. I mean, talk about the perfect jump on the day. Now, my goal is to continue to tweak the schedule tonight. I hope to go to bed, to head to bed around 10 o'clock and be, hitting my head on the pillow around 11, which is exactly what I did last night. But what I hope is that tomorrow, if I can get up at 5 o'clock again, which I'm hoping that I do, I'm hoping to be out the door at 5:30. I want to be out the door at 5:30, and eventually I want to be out the door at 5:15. And I'm just really, really excited about this. And, there's a part of me that says, hey, how long can this excitement last? I don't know. We'll keep moving forward. I'll tell you what, though, I got some feedback yesterday from Frank once again. And, guys, let me tell you, keep the feedback coming. I'm going to share a couple things with you here in just a minute. But first, let's see what Frank had to say.
Hey, Cliff, it's Frank. It's Monday evening, and I just got through listening to the latest Pursuing a Balanced Life while walking for an hour. And, wow, this is going to work. Dude, this is going to work. I'm telling you, this is going to work. You're going to hit your goals. And, there's a lot of differences between what you're doing now and what you were doing before. Before you were walking, you were accumulating steps. You were counting calories for a while, then you weren't. And you tried, a lot of different things. But this time, you've got a real focus. You want to get down. You're not just going to do this part of the way. You're going to do this all the way. And you're doing all the right things. You're counting calories and you're exercising. And, I've said it a million times, there's no big secret to this. It's simple. Eat less, move more, and you're doing that. I will tell you that at one point I was 270 pounds, and right now I weigh about 218. All the weight charts say that my ideal weight for my height should be about 188. And 2 years ago I got down to 188, and I'm 47 years old, and at 188 I looked stupid. I mean, I looked like a lollipop. And my wife even said to me, what, you've lost too much weight. Trust me, gain a few pounds. And that was great because I then had some time to gain some weight back. But what was cool was getting down to the goal weight. It took me almost 2 years to get there, getting down to what the expert charts say is the ideal weight. And then it was a great problem to have people tell me I lost too much weight. And and then I gained it back. I gained a little more than I wanted to. Right now, like I said, I'm up to 218, 220. I want to get down to 200 and maybe even 198, which I think for me is my ideal weight. And I'm going to get there. I'm going to be there by July, and or as close as I can get. And I've been eating 1,700 calories a day and exercising at least an hour a day. And same as you, shooting for 5 days a week, but trying for 7. You're also doing. I'm also using a program on my iPod to count the calories exactly and count the exercise exactly. And you're smart because I'm doing the same thing. If I like today, I was on the treadmill and I walked a total of about an hour and 10 minutes, but I plugged in an hour. If I ate something that was 82 calories, I might list it as 100. Now, what I want to warn you about is, because this happened to me, when I first started this a couple of years ago and lost the bulk of my weight, the first week I lost a lot of weight, 6-7 pounds, something like that. Second week I lost 3 or 4 pounds. The third week, Cliff, I was sticking to it as much as ever before, and I gained a pound. I was so upset. And then the fourth week, I lost 1 pound. Okay, but I stuck with it because the weird thing was the fifth or sixth week, I can't remember what it was, I lost 7 pounds. So don't be surprised if even doing everything you're doing, that you might gain a pound. That's going to happen.
Okay, so I paused there for a second, Frank. I definitely get that, and this is one of the things that I'm definitely trying to prepare myself for mentally in advance, and I really believe that there's a lot of power in preparing ahead of time. Disaster control, risk management, whatever you want to call it. I definitely believe that there's power in planning for things that maybe don't go according to what the original thought process might be, or the way that you hope that they would go. And so when things get in the way, and so yeah, I'm definitely thinking about the fact that there might be a week that I step on the scale and that with as hard as I've been pushing myself, that maybe the weight doesn't change. One of the things that I'll definitely say about that is, even if I have one of those weeks, and this is what I'm trying to convince myself, and I'm convincing myself based upon factual information, not just hope, but factual information that I'm learning from articles and other podcasts that I'm listening to from medical professionals and people who are experts in this field, is that, maybe I might go a week, and have burned, 2,500 calories worth of during physical activity throughout the week. But in that event, even if I haven't lost weight, there are other physical benefits, to my body, such as, the lowering of the risk of heart attack and heart disease and stroke and cholesterol. So my one of the things that I'm saying now, and I'm trying to program my mind to understand that this isn't just about losing weight. It's also about raising the good cholesterol and lowering the bad cholesterol levels in my body, getting a healthier blood pressure, and all these other things. It's not just losing weight. But what I'm doing with this cardio is it's actually doing other things inside that are just as beneficial as dropping a couple pounds, that so that I'm not carrying that extra weight. So absolutely, thank you for that. One of the other things that I'm trying to remind myself is that, hey, another thing I need to think about is the fact that, okay, sure, this is a priority, and sure, little things like rain or I'm really tired, I just don't want to get out of bed this morning, I've been doing so good, those kind of things can't get in the way. This is too much of a priority for that. But there are going to be times when emergencies happen. They just happen to us in life. I'm not even going to start on the whole, why did bad things happen to good people or whatever the case may be. But, the fact is things come up in life that are unexpected and sometimes that are not very pleasant. Some very bad things can happen in life. And so I got to remind myself that those things are real. And what am I going to do when those things happen? How do I continue to make this a priority during that? And one thing I can think of is that, this time not only can be a time of learning and gaining knowledge through listening to podcasts, it can be a time of great worship and devotion and prayer and seeking God. And that's one of the reasons why I don't record an episode of Pursuing a Balanced Life on a daily basis. I don't record this every single day anymore. It's because I want to be able to have something to bring to you guys on a regular basis. And so with that being said, trying to prepare myself not only for that warning there, Frank, which I think is very valuable for us all to be listening to, but also the fact that, there are going to be days then when no matter how much of a priority, there are going to be other things that come up that keep you from doing this. So what's the backup plan? I remember Joseph in the Old Testament when he was, the slave. He was running the house for Potiphar and put in charge of everything. And Potiphar's wife made passes at him. And this is something he knew was an issue. And he's like, listen, if this happens, what am I going to do? And I have to imagine that when he had a backup plan all along, and one day when she came to, he just ran out of the house. And what's my backup plan? And so that's something I need to be thinking through, and I encourage others to do as well. Frank, let's hear the rest of your call.
Just keep going, keep at it, and the key is consistency. Eat less, move more. If you fall off it for a day, forget about it. Get right back on it the next day. It's going to work. It's going to work. I can just tell. And I'm telling you, this is not why you're doing it, but another reason. This will make your podcast soar. You ought to take a picture of yourself, what you look like right now or what you looked like a week or two ago, in as unflattering of a pose as possible. And then you take a picture of yourself after you lose all this weight, and you get down to your ideal weight, because then your podcast, you'll be able to continue it, and you'll be a successful guy who lost a lot of weight, and then you're gonna have another great podcast. I mean, that becomes then a regular guy who used to weigh a lot, who lost a lot of weight, and podcasts about it. So that way, after you've lost all the weight, I think you get even more people to sign up for your podcast, because you're going to keep exercising even after you lose the weight and get done.
Okay, so I paused you just again there for a minute, Frank. Absolutely. This is definitely not something that I'm hiding at all. I'm very intentional about the fact that, there is a benefit for me. And it even came up the other day. And the only thing that makes this a little bit different than normal is the fact that, I do stand to somewhat financially gain from this. And so there's a motivation for me to continue to do this. But that's not why I'm doing it. And you were right. It's definitely not why I'm doing this. But, why I'm doing this is right here in my house, which I just passed again. But why I'm doing this is right here in my house, and it's my wife and my 2 daughters and my son. It's why I'm out here doing this. But you're absolutely right. I do stand to gain financially from this. And that is through increased number of Plus members. I do realize that. I recognize that. I am purposely branding this podcast as Pursuing a Balanced Life, and it's not just health and fitness. It is going to include so many other things. Right now, health and fitness is such a huge emphasis at this moment in time, because, this is all real new to me. I mean, sure, I've been doing it for 19 days, but gosh, it's all new. And I'm learning so much, and I'm feeling so much, and I'm thinking so much about it. That's what's on my mind. That's what's being shared. But Pursuing a Balanced Life is definitely a show that when I think about, the future of GSPN, there are a few shows that I really think moving forward are the main focus of what we do here. There is Pursuing a Balanced Life, The Full-Time Mom, Family from the Heart, the community Voice, and Stephanie Unplugged, and About the Church, and maybe even the Almost Daily Devotional. Kind of working on the thoughts there, because some of the almost daily devotional could fit into pursuing a balanced life, and maybe not so focused, but I'm thinking through these things. So you're absolutely right on target there. And as far as the before and after picture, I sent you the link to a picture, which even if anybody goes there, I encourage you to do this. Go to pursuingabalancedlife.com, and in the sidebar on the right hand side, scroll down, and you'll see my before and after picture. You'll see what 9 pounds looks like physically. I mean, it's you can see the change. You can definitely see the change. So definitely, I am looking forward to seeing that photo change over the next couple months. And you're right, Frank. It's going to be something I say, listen, I was that guy. I was the sedentary lifestyle guy, and I was the guy who lacked discipline in this area. And it can be done. So anyway, yeah, let's finish your voicemail.
Your goal. Okay, and then you're going to have to maintain it, which, trust me, that's always a challenge in itself. And wow, I am now more motivated than ever before, and I'm going to keep on listening. And I think I'm going to check out your blog for the first time. I've only checked that a couple times. All right, talk to you soon. Thanks, bye.
All right, Frank, thank you so much, and glad to hear that you're going to check out the blog. I'm looking forward to eventually starting to post supplementary information there, things that I read from articles and blogs and inspirational things and educational stuff. So, this brand new brand and, all new stuff. Hey, I'm very excited. I want to share with you guys, if you don't mind, real quickly here. Hold on one second. Okay, so I got everything fixed here. A couple things. One, I am on my Twitter application on my iPhone, and I am getting ready to pull up some stuff here, and I just want to tell you the #, PABL. And if you're not familiar with this, you can go back and listen to episode 399 of Pursuing a Balanced Life, or you can go to pursuingabalancedlife.com/PABL to find out what this hashtag is in Twitter and how to track. In fact, go if you haven't done so already. This happened since I recorded 399. Go to pursuingabalancedlife.com and look over into the right-hand side of the menu. Check it out. If you put in pound PABL or hashtag PABL in your Twitter updates, you should show up in that list. And so it's pretty exciting. And some people have been joining on board. In fact, I've got Tuning In with Wayne is on here. I got Mary, who is Bear1. Let me read to you what Mary says on Twitter. She says, I am not going to let my cerebral palsy run my life. I think it might have been doing that for a bit now. So no more pity party. And then she put pound PABL, which that anytime anybody out there, if you make a statement or a status update on your Twitter that has anything to do with pursuing a balanced life, does not have to be just physical health, but anything pursuing a balanced life related, put in pound PABL. Tuning In with Wayne. I've gone 24 hours without any Diet Coke or any soda. I know it's early, but so far so good. Pound PABL. Awesome. Tuning In with Wayne says going to bed at 9:30 instead of my usual 11ish. Got to get up at 5 a.m. PABL. Let's see here. GSPN, hooray, congrats. So mom to twins +1. She gave some encouragement there. Mary says, I'm at work and doing what I can do to keep me going with new Mary. By the way, and then of course PABL. But there's in the health, fitness, and accountability section in the forum, she wrote a great post about the whole new Mary that she's going to become, or that she's becoming. And then let's see here. Stephen Cross is on board. Eric Fisher is on board. Majestala. Anyway, she says she loved the new PABL. And then Batch Out. Let's see if I can figure out who Batch Out is by going to his... you click on the profile here. Once David Cole. So David Cole, let's see. My father has trouble speaking, sometimes due to a past stroke. I tend to, quote-unquote, fill in his words for him. Resolving to patiently let him speak. PABL. See, there's an example. David, that is awesome. That is awesome. Ramen Noodle, my good friend Daniel says, grr, Cliff, you've got me reading nutrition labels to check the calories now. PABL. Pound PABL. Scoopy77 says to Wayne, good for you. I'm off the sauce too, so to speak. How are you? So that was Amanda in Michigan. Edith, known as Spice Dogs on Twitter, says, tuning in with Wayne. More power to you. I'm off the stuff as well. I'm on my second month. Congratulations, Edith. Mary says, hey, Cliff, I love this pound PABL. I feel like I can post something and somebody's actually reading it. Absolutely. That's why this is so awesome. I love the pound PABL. And then, let's see here. Spice Fog says, just finished listening to @GSPN podcast, PABL number, and she did pound PABL, number 399. I love how excited Cliff is about changing his life-changing success. Way to go, Cliff. Thank you so much, Edith, for that. Ramen Noodle says, I did plenty of walking from shopping, but my pedometer says I only took about 8,000 steps. So I'll run up and down the stairs a bit. Pound PABL. This is awesome. Daniel says to Edith, Spice Dogs, inspiring, isn't it? It got me thinking more and even requesting extra accountability in the GSPN.TV forums. Pound PABL. Emma says, and let's see, that's Emma 72, and I'm not sure, Emma, how to pronounce it. Anyway, but Emma says, hi, Cliff, just listened to pound PABL 397. Have put Shape Up on my iPod Touch as need to cut back on my calories and get active. Awesome. And she put the pound PABL in there. And so folks, if you haven't done so, join the pound PABL wagon. Please join the pound PABL wagon. We would love to. This is a great way. See how you guys didn't even have to call in that feedback, and I'm able to share it in the podcast. This is so exciting. I am so excited. So if you wanna be featured in the show, just include pound PABL in your Twitter updates whenever you're posting about pursuing a balanced life. We'll get them in here. Of course, we'll take your phone calls as well. We love hearing your voice. I carry this little cable with me so that we get some good high quality audio from the phone call. And to do that, if you have free long distance, do me a favor and call 859-795-4067. Again, that's 859-795-4067. If you don't have free long distance and it costs you money to call me, you can do it on my dime at 800-757-1158. Hey, real quickly here, this is another episode number 400, going into the free feed. For those of you who are Plus members, you get every single episode of Pursuing a Balanced Life, as well as every episode of all of our shows. I did finally switch over iTunes to reflect the new Pursuing a Balanced Life brand change in iTunes. I switched. The feed is now pulling from my blog over at pursuingabalancedlife.com. And so actually the first actual podcast that went out into the feed now that's out there is $3.99. So I'm gonna prime the pump with a couple of these things. So a bunch of these episodes are going to be going out for free into the free feed this week. I don't think you guys who are Plus members would mind that, to help provide the initial start and inspiration to those who are checking out Pursuing a Balanced Life to see if there's something they might be interested in. So just so you know that I might just go ahead and throw about 5 or 6 of these episodes out in a row on the free feed before we start taking it, back to the Plus member only episodes. But for those of you who are listening on the free feed, and that's another thing that Plus members might have to put up with if you guys don't mind. But I am just going to say, hey, this podcast episode is offered to you for free. Podcasting is what I do for a living. This is my full-time career, and this is something that I love to share with you. If you remain a free subscriber, feel free to do that. That's completely fine. I put them out here for free every now and then. And as you know, after I prime the pump with about 5 episodes, you'll probably get 1 episode for every 5 or 6 episodes that I record. So with that being said, you'll still be able to get some content maybe 2 or 3 times per month. Whereas Plus members will get probably about 2 episodes a week. And anyway, if you want to learn more about Plus memberships, head over to gspn.tv/plus. Thank you, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you guys. Second day in a row. I usually won't be doing these back to back. I'll usually spread them back a day apart, but I really wanted to share some of this stuff, and I look forward to coming back to you again probably a little later this week, maybe Friday. We'll see. We'll talk to you very soon. God bless you all. Bye-bye.